Hey everybody, this is Blue. Yesterday was Father's Day, and I did a lot of thinking about all the stuff my dad has done for me. And I came to a realization. I knew this, but I didn't know into what detail that this was true. The biggest reason why I am a pagan and a witch is because of my dad. He has influenced me, taught me in so many ways that I was connected with the earth. And then, so when I left Christianity and I was looking for my place in this world, paganism just seemed natural because I had this strong connection with the earth. My dad was born in 1942 in a small town in rural Iowa. Population of less than 600 people, just to tell you how small it is. And so when you're in a small town like that, you had the basic necessities and you had to find ways to entertain yourself, to keep yourself busy. And a lot of people gave a lot of advice. A lot of old wives' tales, as we call them today, was talked about. And I'm doing my best trying to remember all the ones my dad taught me. But that's the thing. My dad taught me these things. And it created a wonderful connection with nature. He knew so much about the trees, and I just love it. One of the things is if you're feeling kind of spiritually drained, go out in nature, spend some time in nature, but look for a pine tree. Take your hands and your wrists, have them go against the pine needles, and walk around the tree a couple times. You can't just stand there, you got to walk around the tree. And you are going to feel little power surges. As the needles rub against you, the tips, you are going to feel the power surge. And you do that, like I said, you walk around a couple times, 3 times if you want to, and you will feel better. And it works. My dad taught me that. My dad taught me all the different types of trees, beech tree, hickory tree, elms, the oaks, all that. He showed me this stuff, and I loved him for it. Growing up, we did a lot of fishing trips at different county parks. We did some trails. We went berry picking. We did things as a family. The one thing I remember the most, we were walking around the lake at my favorite nature park. I was, like 7 or 8 years old, and we were on the north side. And there's some good trees right next to the water. And my dad stopped us, and he pointed out a beehive. And he was saying, we got nothing to worry about. Show it respect. Don't throw anything at it. Don't anger the bees. And just, be quiet for a while, and they're not going to bother us. My dad always said you got to respect something. If there was, something that you had to learn, you had to be careful of, show it respect. And I thought that was some of the coolest advice my dad gave me. Another piece of, it's 2 pieces of advice I'd like to give everybody out there. If you are going to go camping in nature, walk around the woodlands first before you even think about pitching your tent. A lot of people will call these grandfather trees. My dad told me to find the biggest tree that you can find and leave a tribute to that tree that the tree can use. So you can't just throw a couple quarters down there. The tree can't use it. It's worthless. But, We talk about, cakes and wine, give a little beer, give a little wine, water, something that can decompose and nourish the tree. Okay? You do that, and it's a sign of respect. And according to my dad, when you do that, you will have a better night, a more tranquil, relaxing night in the woods when you go camping. And science, in a way, has proven this to be possible. They've done a study where all the roots from all these trees and other plants, they cross each other. It creates a neural network, so to say. And so if you please the grandfather trees, that energy is supposed to spread out. And so wherever you put your tent at, you will have a better night. And then the second piece of advice my dad taught me was also just as important here. Feel the tree's bark before you plant a single pole tent, put on your tent, sorry. You walk up to it and you have your hands going up the sides of the tree. Feel the energy. See if it is at peace or not. You should be able to find out if that tree wants you there. Okay. If you kind of get a nasty vibe, find another tree and go camp there. Again, this is all about the roots and all that. You find the tree that welcomes you, you set your tent underneath it, and you will have a wonderful night camping. This taught me that the trees are more than what we see. There's more to the forest than to the trees. And so my dad taught me this stuff. That's why when I told everybody in a video many years ago, when I left Christianity, I was walking down this nature park that I love, and I was, trying to figure out what I'm going to do and why I felt so good and why making that decision was so easy, because I was in an area where I have gave tribute to, I have felt comfortable in, and it just felt right. So I have to thank my dad for all the nature wisdom that he gave me. And so this is how I pagan. I have a full-time job. There are a lot of people out there, they create this schedule, this daily routine in which they pagan. I can't do that. In my life, every job that I've ever worked, sometimes you're called in early, sometimes you have to stay late. So you can't follow a schedule for your paganism. It's doing little things that make the difference. There are some people that said they have a morning pagan prayer. No, that's fine for them. For me, I go outside and I look at the sky, I look at the trees, and I compliment nature in some manner. We've been having a lot of thunderstorms in central Iowa, and so, I look at the clouds, I think how beautiful they are. You got the dark clouds, white clouds, you got the rumble of thunder, and I think that is so beautiful, and I thank nature for it. That is one of the ways that I pagan. I don't follow all the Sabbats, but I always honor Beltane and Samhain because they are the start and end of the Celtic summer. Okay, so that is important to me. So some of the other Sabbats are not very important to me, but those two are the most important to me. My dad also affected my witchcraft. He started it. My dad had a trunk in the basement. He had some witch books in there, some of the herbs, some powders. He had like Van oil, Three Thieves oil, and he had some other things in there that he kept in there, and we weren't supposed to go in there, but I did, and my dad looked down on me. Sometimes he yelled me out because he says there are some things I don't understand. I should leave it alone. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now, and I'm just going, thanks, Dad, for the advice. My dad has things that are witchcraft related that he still has that I can't touch. I'm not allowed to have. It's kind of interesting. The first one is this stone that he has. It's the size of a quarter, it's the size of a buckeye, if you know how big a buckeye is. That's roughly the size and shape of this stone. He says it's his most powerful stone, and I'm not allowed to touch it. I'm not allowed to have it until the day he dies. What's so important about this stone is its ability. My dad says if you want to get to somebody, you get yourself a pitcher and you put this stone on top of it. Something about that stone makes that person antsy. It makes them kind of jittery. They can't get a good night's sleep. They're wanting to calm down, but they can't because the stone is on their pitcher. And I'm thinking that is so amazing, but I can't have that stone. My dad believes in sacred geometry. When I was a kid, he ordered a kit to make a small wooden framed four-sided pyramid. No nails on it whatsoever. It was specifically cut for you put the two pieces together into one drop of glue all the way around. My dad still has it. I'm not allowed to have it. My dad hung his pendulum from it. And so, I think that is so cool. And so there's days where I wish I had one, but I want my dad's and I'll be patient for it. Along with the sacred geometry, my dad has spiritual circuitry on the wall. In two 8x10 frames, he has these circuits. They use the wiring for like your 110 watt lines, and so you can mold it and it can keep a shape. And in it there are spirals, plates, blocks, all in copper. And these patterns are, they're in this wire. It's one piece of wire, probably about 4 foot long, but it's turned and bent to make these geometric shapes. And he has two of them. They're different. They are to get next to each other in the center of the room, and it is supposed to conduct good spiritual energy to the owner. Nobody except for my dad is allowed to touch them. Nobody is allowed to touch them. They came in this special aluminum box. I could look in the box, but I couldn't touch them. My dad put them up on the wall, and he's had these for 30 some years, and he's the only one that ever touched them in this house. And I don't touch them out of respect, and I will get these when he passes away. And he told me I am supposed to cleanse them and then hang them up in my house. So I think that is like so cool. My dad has this pair of sunglasses. I want to use them again. In these sunglasses, there's a battery pack, a little computer. There's a headphones to it as well. So you put them on, and through the headphones, you're getting a drum beat. And Inside the lenses, there is this pattern of LEDs, and there are 3 colors, and you put them on. You have to have your eyes closed, and the lights flash. It's synchronized, and so you get patterns. You can have lines of different colors going up, down, sideways. It can make squares. It can, where they're, expanding or contracting. And this was supposed to help you when you are meditating and all that. My dad let me use these once. I borrowed them for a week, and I was meditating. I had them on, and I reached a stage and where I felt a little weird. I actually felt like I got thrown. I didn't feel like I hit, but I just felt like this rapid movement that I couldn't explain, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And so I took him back to my dad, and I says, man, I had a weird experience with them. And I told it, and he says, well, you can never use them again. You're not ready for them. And it's just like, okay. And I have tried to get them, and he said, no, not yet. So I'm trying to find them and trying to find a set so I can get a set, but I know I'll get my dad's set sometime, hopefully in a while. The crystal ball that I have was actually my dad's, and he told me when because I asked for it, he told me when he gave it to me, he says, you cleanse it good. Don't scratch it. And he told me how to clean it, but he told me that I had to clean it good. Many, many years ago, he had the crystal ball on his dresser right in front of the bed, obviously against the wall. He said he woke up one morning, he looked at it, and there was a face turned back at him. And he wasn't ready for that. And from that point on, he always kept a cloth on it, a black cloth. And so this was just something that was interesting to me. And so I got the crystal ball, and I follow his advice as much as I can on it. Every once in a while I forget to cover it, but I don't have it in my bedroom. He said that was the mistake he made. But this is the advice, and this is the effect my dad had on my spiritual and magical life. I have to thank him so much for everything that he's done. He is the reason why I'm a pagan and why I'm a witch. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate everything that you've done for me. Everybody, thank you for listening to my little story here. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. So everybody, please take care. Be at peace.